So I came across this clip of Dylan Mulvaney, a social media influencer, claiming that he can become a mother one day. Not only is this disrespectful toward actual women, but it's just the social norm. Just because culture says something over and over again doesn't make it true. A man is still a man, a woman is still a woman. This world will influence us to trade truth for feelings. Modern culture teaches people to trust their feelings over facts. Many things in history was socially, normal, yet it was completely wrong. Slavery, child labor, corruption, segregation, all these things were wrong. The Bible says, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil." Saying things like a man can become a woman is a prime example of that. Let's play this clip of Dylan.
Now I know I can find love. I know I can still be a performer. I know that I can have a family. I want to be a mom one day. And I absolutely can. And that's why the narrative still has a long way to go, because when I was grieving boy Dylan, I didn't know those things were even accessible to me.
Now, these lies are acceptable to Dylan because of the corrupt world that we live in. You can also see in the comment section is full of women actually, not correcting him with truth, but feeding into the lie. The God of this world, Satan, blinded the minds of people. This shows the spiritual battle that we all are facing. The enemy comes to whisper lies, sow seeds of confusion, and tempts us to doubt what God says. Check out this clip of Dylan talking to his parents.
So I recently told my parents that I may be a little bit romantically interested in women. And that was a big shock for them, considering the past 10 years of coming out as gay, then queer, then non-binary, then trans. And I think it was just a bit of a shock. So I tell my dad, and he goes, "Well, I would love to see you get a woman pregnant." And I said, "Oh, no, no, no. She would be getting me pregnant." And then he said, "What, do you have a vagina now?" And I said, "Never say never." And then I tell my mom, and she goes, "I would just love to see you own property one day." And in California, that's sort of, a parent's dream. It's not having kids or getting married. It's are you able to own a house? Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah.
We can see that his parents are holding on to what's natural and what's been designed by God. Dylan is not only sarcastically rejecting his parents' wish, but he's also rejecting God's design for family itself. Honestly, it's sad how far we've gone from what's true. A while back, Dylan collaborated with Bud Light, and while doing so, Bud Light received a lot of backlash. Now, I brought this up because the previous owner of Bud Light had this to say about the whole situation.
I think my family, my ancestors would have rolling over in their grave. They were very patriotic. They loved this country and what it stood for. They believed that transgender, gays, that sort of thing was all a very personal issue. They love this country because it is a free country and people are allowed to do what they want. But it was never meant to be on a beer can and never meant to be pushed in people's faces. So they would have they would have never marketed their brands that way. As you know, AB was one of the greatest marketers ever in any business. And they were incredible with what they came out with: the Clydesdales, the frogs, the lizards, all the different promotions they had, all the different advertising they had. And the last thing they would have done was to get as controversial as they did, as InBev has with Dylan Mulvaney advertising.
Now, not only did he say that his parents or grandparents and ancestors would be rolling over in their graves right now, but the whole agenda was not to be pushed in people's face, the gay agenda. And I agree, you can see how far we've drifted from truth. Back then, brands like Bud Light was, brought up on American values and patriotism. Now, the same brand is pushing an agenda that mocks traditional values and confuses children. Now, it's not just beer, it's big brands pushing an agenda to normalize what's not normal. God's design for identity and family still stands no matter what. God bless.